So there's a concept that Thomas Berry used to talk about, and he was trying to describe and understand the present condition, particularly of Western culture, and the condition of humans on the earth in general right now. And he would say that we are in a deep cultural pathology, and we need deep cultural therapy. And this particularly meant a lot to me as I was a psych major in college and was very passionate about wanting to understand the problems in the world that I was seeing in terms of human injustice and environmental degradation and so forth. And so when Thomas said this, it made really deep sense to me, and it gave me an understanding of myself and my own journey. By deep cultural pathology, what he means is that the depth of the dysfunction that is at the root of the destruction of the environment, the destruction of the world at this point, is so woven into our culture that we're kind of blind to even be able to see it. Things are so, the violence and the destruction are so normalized that it's not even something that we're very aware of. We just kind of accept it as, oh, that's just the way things are. And so he was able to articulate that things like destroying 10,000 species a year, on the planet. Another phrase that he would use sometimes is, we're changing the chemistry of the planet. And so these deep destructive things that are ripping apart the very fabric of life on the planet, and so deeply affecting human society, human health, and at the same time being woven into our culture, woven into the ways that we think and see and things that we do. That's what he meant by deep cultural pathology. And so he would say we need deep cultural therapy. And so the importance of being able to address these issues at the same level at which the issues are being caused. So not just, to use the analogy of rearranging the chairs on the deck of the Titanic, like recycling. While it's a wonderful thing, is not nearly enough. Or, voting people into office who are going to promote more strict environmental laws and so forth. While those things are important, they're not nearly deep enough. So addressing this pathology at a very deep cultural level is the kind of things that he was pointing to. So primarily, like one question he would ask is, how can we as humans relate to the rest of the earth community in a way that views them as sacred, as holy? How can we understand the whole earth community as the sacred community, not just the sacred community of humans or the sacred community of Christians or the sacred community of Muslims, but that we're all part of the sacred community? He would say something like, to understand that the universe is a communion of subjects, not a collection of objects. So beginning to address the thinking at this very deep cultural level, and to promote this kind of way of shifting our consciousness, changing our thinking, changing our worldview, learning the new cosmology of how we'll all come out of the same life creation story, that for him was like this deep cultural therapy level. And one of the primary archetypes that he would talk about that was necessary to do this was the shamanic archetype. And the shamanic archetype is deep cultural therapy because it helps us to transcend our perceptions of separation from each other and from the natural world, which are at the root of our pathology, and to help us to have a deeper sense of our connection to one another, to recognize our connection to one another, as well as humans, and our connection to all of the rest of the earth community and the cosmic community. So practices within shamanism that help humans to get beyond this kind of prison of our perception of separation into the experience of oneness, connectedness, joy, celebration, and so forth. That's one of the main ways that one of the main archetypes that we talked about doing that. And so as we do that, we will help to create what he would call the ecozoic. That we're reinventing the human at the species level, and we're creating a new human species called the ecozoic human, or a new era called the ecozoic age. And being deep cultural pathologists, deep cultural therapists helps us to help bring about the ecozoic age.